Hold on. Hey!
Got it.
Not fucking lighting. Stop.
I got it.
Go!
Shit!
Fuck!
Cover him. Fuck!
Yes! Get the thing! Fucking do it!
Do it!
We were having trouble lighting Luke on fire.
Not fucking lighting. Stop.
And I called cut. The camera operator was the only person who heard me because of it. We were right next to the interstate and it was really loud. And the camera operator turned the camera off right at the moment Luke got lit. His arm went up in flames.
I got it.
Go!
Shit!
Fuck!
Cover him.
I'm focusing on the fact that we've essentially Luke goes through the shot perfectly. I'm focusing that we missed the shot because the camera's off. So I'm busy shouting expletives.
Fuck!
Yes!
I look up and see that Luke is still on fire, and I think, let's put Luke out. That's the smart thing to do. I don't know why he wasn't out yet.
Fucking do it!
Do it!
I grab him. We get Luke out, but it was a little late, and he had second-degree burns, and so we sent him. We had to take him to the hospital. Hi, I'm Robert Loomis, and this is the making of Angry Young Man. Angry Young Man is actually a sequel to the film Dog Years, which I shot in 1996. Self-financed, and by self-financing I mean I talked my family and friends into giving me money. We shot Dog Years on Sundays. At the time I had Tuesdays and Sundays off, and I would prep on Tuesday and we would shoot on Sunday. It took 7 months. It ended up costing about $8,000 to get in the can, and I never actually had $8,000 at once. Because we had it stretched out, I was able to sort of pay as we went. Part of that was possible because I co-owned a 16mm camera with 3 other filmmakers. So rather than a traditional shoot where you shoot it all at once and you're usually renting equipment, and so the longer you go, the more it costs. By owning your own equipment, you can stretch it out like that. To get to a print was about 2.5 years. And it ended up being about $25,000, I believe, to get to print. Again, with family and friends' money, primarily. I mean, I was making $6 an hour, I believe, at the time. So, I did what I could. We got done with the film. We put it into the market in New York, the IFFM, the Independent Feature Film Market, which is sort of the place to start when you're a nobody with no contacts, which we were. We screened the film, and in fact, a representative from Troma saw the movie and liked it a lot, and we're interested in distributing it. But in the meantime, I had applied to, of course, the big one, Sundance, and also Slamdance, which was coming into its own then, and South by Southwest, and wanted to see if I was going to get accepted into any of those. But I got rejected from Sundance and Slamdance, and Troma was still interested. And so I signed the contract with Troma, and pretty much, in fact, I think it was the next day, South by Southwest called and said, your film, Dog Years, is accepted into South by Southwest. And at first I was like, damn it, I should have waited to see what came out of South by Southwest. And in fact, we got a very good review in Variety, and it compared me to Jim Jarmusch and Hal Hartley, and some very nice things, and thought the film could make money. And at the time, not knowing any better, not that I know any better now, but I guess I expected the phone to start ringing, I guess from agents or, however it works. It, of course, never rang. Not with anyone from the industry, film industry, but so in retrospect, going with Trauma was probably a good idea. The film has gotten out there, and that's what I knew. Going in, I knew that I was unlikely to see a lot of, any money from Trauma, but that they do get the films out there, and they do have a following, they have a built-in audience, and that at the time was more important to me. So I went with Trauma. And because of Trauma, I did get into several film festivals. I got into Avignon as a result of Trauma, and had a great time there. They put you up, and you got a lot of food and wine, more importantly, and sat next to Paul Schrader at dinner, and it was very good for my ego, and which is pretty much why I make films, I think, to satisfy whatever shortcomings I have as an individual. Then I decided I was going to make a huge World War I epic period piece costume drama. And I did that. I tried that for a couple years, and for some reason had problems raising the money for that. And so after a few years of not going anywhere with that project, I decided, well, what movie could I do like Dog Years that I could just do right now on my own, 16 millimeter, just go out and shoot it. And I said, well, how about the sequel to Dog Years? And I had some ideas of what had happened to Wally, sort of in the aftermath. And so I sat down, I wrote the script, and finished the script, and it was virtually the day after I got a phone call from a local production company, Terrasis Video, and as the name implies, they were a video production company, and but they had acquired some film equipment, and they were interested in getting into film production. They had seen Dog Years, and they asked if I had a project that I could sort of shoot right away, just knock out, and go into production like immediately. And I said, well, I just finished the script, as a matter of fact, and they read the script, they liked it. We said, okay, let's make it. How does everyone feel about they know what they're doing?
Yeah.
Other than the Flagstaff weekend, that first day is just that Saturday morning. We'll shoot you here.
Did you make that new dog?
Well, having all these different options.
Yeah,
is
The
good.
crane, that thing's awesome.
Did you see it?
I just saw it through the window.
Oh yeah. I have to show it off. Yeah.
I'm scared.
Right, Mike will be proud.
You know your lines.
Camera
I can't
shy.
believe you got
No, I
beat
don't.
up right before this.
It was a week before.
Why
You have
does
no
that
idea
surprise
what
you?
your lines are.
I haven't even got a copy of the
I mean,
script
it
yet.
works, fortunately. They wanted to go right away, and I wanted to go right away, of course. And I think perhaps we rushed it a bit.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's a hell of a commitment, Mike, to get yourself beat up for the sake of the movie. So we don't have to spend any time on makeup.
Okay, makeup's done.
As far as casting goes, it was fairly straightforward because being a sequel, we used a lot of the same cast. So, there was Nietzsche, of course, returned, and Mike Cancross, who plays Wally, and Ted Parks. Thank God for Ted Parks, he's a fantastic actor, and willing to work with me again, and Lee Kaplan and Veronica Morris, Kyle Dibburn, who plays the canine officer, and Dave Gordon, who worked on Dog Years. The cast did whatever it took to get the film project done, in spite of the lack of proper monetary compensation. And the crew, I had the crew were some of the people I worked with before. Luke, I had mentioned, and I mentioned Cecilia Flammy, who does everything humanly possible to see not only Angry Young Man, but had done the same on Dog Years. And Mark Brown, who took care of all the technical aspects of the film for me. And we had Edward Stencil, who was one of the producers, but he's also a fantastic cinematographer.
Listen to what's going on here. I'm shooting this. Yeah. He comes down. I'm panning with him here.
I don't want to raise the tension because then the magazine will jam.
We had decided to shoot in 35 millimeter, largely because we had the equipment and didn't have to worry about renting it. And even though we did still spend about 2/3 of the budget on just film stock and processing, I think it was largely because again, my ego, I wanted it to be, 35 millimeter.
Luke, what are you doing here?
Building a camera truck.
From scratch.
From scratch, yes.
I made a lot of the camera support equipment because I like a lot of moving camera, and not being able to afford to rent equipment, I found it cheaper to build it myself. People in the industry, they want to make out like filmmaking some sort of rocket science that only they are qualified to do, and the thing is, it's not rocket science. It's straightforward. It can be overwhelming if you look at how much needs to be done by how many people. But really, it boils down to you get the equipment you need, you get the people you need, you put them on the locations you need, and then you make it. And part of that is taking it one shot at a time. I just have to get this shot of this hand pulling the trigger. You get it, boom, check it off, next shot. And then you just go through until the film is done.
So as the second driver and actor in this stunt, how do you feel about the months of preparation that's gone into the planning and execution of what we're about to witness?
Months of planning? We're talking about 30 minutes, man. All he says is, don't hit me. That's all he said. So I figure I'll just avoid him at all costs. If I can see through the dust far enough, I think I'm gonna be okay.
Give us a little rundown on the first two takes.
First one was wimpy, way too slow. Second one, we had a little bit more speed, really cool. He did a little spin, he did a full 360. I barely missed him on the right, and I continued on through the big cloud of dust.
What do you hope to see on the third take?
I hope to clip his back end just as he's coming around after his 360 and kind of push me off to the side, but spin him around again, and then I'll fishtail, and you better hang on.
Here we go!
I was working as an adjunct instructor at the University of Arizona at the time, and we had scheduled it essentially around spring break, and with both weekends, so we had 9 days. And we didn't think we were going to get the whole film shot in 9 days, but we thought we'd get like 2/3 and then could do the rest in pickups.
Were you getting speed on that thing?
I don't know, it didn't sound very good.
No, it didn't.
You alright? You alright, Robert? I'm fine. Is Bronco okay?
Being in the desert, I don't do well in intense heat and stress. I mean, I think I get migraines, and getting, working in a desert and it's hot and being under stress and not getting sleep and then adding alcohol into that.
I do not feel too bad.
Hello, I'm wasted.
I think we're still drunk.
Oh, did you hear the story?
I don't think the hangover is going to kick in until...
Well, we rushed into production. During that 9 days, we ended up maybe getting a third of the film shot.
How'd it go?
I thought it went great. It didn't go bad. What are you talking about?
And we quickly scheduled 4 days, another 4 days, essentially a long weekend, and maybe got up to about half of the film. And then spent the next year or so shooting on the weekends for essentially the rest of the movie. So we had started off relatively large on Angry Young Man with pretty much a full crew. But eventually, after the 9 days and the 4 days, and shooting on the weekends, the crew just kind of kept getting smaller and smaller until it was down to about the same level as we had shot Dog Years at. And if you want numbers, on a really big, complicated day, I'd say we'd have probably 6 people. And on many days, there would be 3, including myself and probably Mark Brown, or almost invariably Mark Brown, and also Mike Cancross. 4 if you count Nietzsche, the dog. We had started off, with insurance, and therefore we were able to get permits. But by the end, the insurance had run out, and meaning then we weren't able to get permits. So we did end up shooting a lot of shots without permits, and doing our own stunts and doing things like pushing my car down a major street in Tucson. Again, not recommending it if you can afford. We at one point in the beginning we had police shutting down the road when I drove over the motorcycle, but you do what you have to do. And I guess that's really the point. We did what we had to do. You start off with this budget and you just move forward, and the budget goes away, but the film's not done. You have to finish it or quit. So we decided not to quit, and we did what we had to do, which is why I did, most of the stunts. It wasn't that I wanted to. I do think it was good that I had, my misspent youth of driving cars without much respect for the law, somehow was able to, I was able to make use of that.
One thing I remember is being so overjoyed when you turned 18, because then we didn't have to go to traffic court with you anymore.
And again, that ability to just, focus on finishing the film is probably the key to finishing the film. Admittedly, sometimes I get over-focused and lose sight of the bigger picture. And by bigger picture, I mean no one getting killed or injured. But I do try to do that. I try not to get so... I had in the past...
The first film that I worked with you, production was stopped for about a week when you decided that you would do this gag. You'd dress up like this, like other character, put on his costume, which I think had wings, but that thing could not fly. And you jumped to get this shot, you jumped off of a windmill and broke your back, which stopped production for about a week to 10 days, if I remember correctly.
I admittedly get tunnel vision and think of just need this shot and not think of safety, but I think I've gotten a lot better. And
when we were shooting on Angry Young Man and we were doing the chase sequence past the bridge where the 3 police cars are chasing the Bronco, and you were pointing out like I'm going to jump off this road here, which was probably like a 6-foot drop, and you're putting on like a rugby helmet and teeth protector, and I remember your wife calling me, seemed to be concerned, and I think I was concerned too.
And producer, what are your cautions and fears, concerns?
Well, death, dismemberment, flaming Bronco.
But you said everything was going to be okay, and I think you said too the worst thing that could happen is I could lose my teeth.
We did send Luke to the hospital, but he wasn't badly injured, but...
Hey, let's get an interview here with Luke. How you doing today, Luke?
Oh, pretty good. Let's see.
Got a little bandages, a little bit better
Little
today,
bandages. Huh? Yeah, it's actually feeling pretty good today.
And glad to say he worked with me again, I think. We're still friends, still in touch, and thank goodness, because I would never want to get on Luke's bad side, because there's a lot of people that I wouldn't want to have to fight, but I'd say Luke is probably like number 1 on that list, because he's pretty tough. But Yeah, so Luke went to the hospital, and I ended up having to then light my arm on fire to finish the shot because, and it wasn't, the mood on the set at this point was pretty tense, and thank goodness for Luke being such a trooper, and he was even willing to do it himself. But we said, no, we'll get you taken care of, and but it wasn't because I wanted to light myself on fire. It's because we had to, it was like, do we quit? And believe me, I was sick to my stomach. We talked about wrapping for the day, but you just make the decision. Okay, let's finish. So we got the stunt. It's in the film. No one was seriously hurt, and Luke's and I are still talking to each other.
Keep rolling no matter what.
Keep rolling no matter what.
See, I say, man, I want to roll. I don't want to roll out.
Keep rolling
when that
no
thing
matter
rolls.
what. That's what I like to hear.
So this film we had really set out to essentially shoot right away and whip out. Basically, we wanted to whip this film out. 4 years is what it ended up taking.
Actually, the pain that I was going through, I'd never gone through that kind of pain. So the shoot was a piece of cake compared to passing a kidney stone.
We decided to take it to the market again in New York, the independent feature film market. Again, because we were still nobodies from nowhere with no connections. And at first at first we were really excited about it. The people at the market had really liked the film, and they mentioned I believe it was the Hollywood Reporter, they mentioned 3 films that were like the films to keep your eye on. And the first one they mentioned was Angry Young Man. So we were really excited that, oh, good, people are going to come see the screening and things might happen. And then we ended up at our screening, we had virtually no representation from the industry. And when I say virtually, I mean there was no representation from anyone in the industry. No one was there. And we extremely disappointed. It probably didn't help that they were giving away free beer right around the corner at the same time as our screening. I mean, I wish I had been able to go get free beer. And fortunately, Patrick Roddy, one of the producers, had heard about Film Threat going into distribution, and he contacted them, and we sent them a copy. And fortunately, they liked the film. And here we are. And I was very excited because Film Threat had been, when I was in film school, I'd get the magazine, and of course, I have Chris Gore's, like everyone probably does, the Ultimate Film Festival guide. So I was extremely excited to be involved with Film Threat. So thank goodness for Patrick getting in touch with them, and thank goodness for Film Threat for existing. So here we are, and the film's getting out there and getting released, and people are able to see it, which is the whole idea. At least for me, when I make a film, I want people to see it. In fact, I want as many people as possible to see the film. Primarily, again, because of the ego thing. This is my trophy wall for my success in filmmaking. This is what I won for Dog Years at the Arizona Film Festival. It won the Best of Arizona Dog Years, 1998 International Film Festival, which is a while ago now. And then this one I just won last year for the new film, Angry Young Man. And they didn't actually put a plaque on it this year, so you have to just take my word for it that's what it's for. But both of them are rocks, as you can see, and I can't help but think of every time I think of my awards, I think of Charlie Brown Trick or Treating. He always ends up with a rock.